What's up, beautiful spirits? Pugilist fanatics. It's Myra Magnus. Quick live segment of Boxing Logics United. You know, it was about a year or so ago, over a year ago, where me and a couple of other fellow YouTubers was talking, and I mentioned that social media is not good for boxing. I believe overall, if it's not done the proper way. And most of the time it's not. It's not done the proper way. Social media started out as the counter to mainstream media. Okay? As far as everything you wasn't hearing, the perspectives, the angles, all the shit in the middle that you wasn't getting from mainstream media, you had people, grassroots, no network backing, just any regular Joe Schmo with good common sense and logic, filling people in that perhaps didn't see what was going on. Kurt DeVille just had an interview yesterday with Tay Jones, I believe a close confidant and friend to Deontay Wilder. And I'm very, very happy that happened. Counterpunch Boxing had an interview with somebody on the inside with Wilder's team. And it was people that Wilder's been working with for quite some time. New media, LDBC, that didn't like that. They didn't like that. My question is why? No social media platform, no social media engine, group, conglomerate should be the only outlet for a boxer to get his perspective out. Now, in the idealistic world, in the realistic world, yeah, I get it. You want to build up your brand, your group, your crew, no matter who it may be. LDBC, UGC, MBBC, I get it. You feel me? But it's not good for the boxer. And not good for boxing overall right now. Because the boxers need to feel comfortable and free to talk to every outlet out there. Every outlet. Boxing needs social media to be completely neutral. Completely neutral. Every social media platform. We need to be the checks or the balance. Boxing social media YouTubers need to be the balance to the networks. Now the networks, whether you Top Rank, Matchroom, DAZN, PBC, Showtime, HBO, they are going to have the stables should go head to head with each other. The stables should be protecting their fighters to some degree. Red Glove, Militant, Peace, and Pugilism. The stables, I can understand them doing that. But that's not the case for social media. You know what I'm saying? You got these things called new media. To me, I think they're fluke media. Because they're only pushing particular fighters. And it doesn't matter if they're even American. It doesn't matter if they're even black. If they've had something, an agreement with a particular fighter and this group or stable, or 2 or 3 particular fighters, even within the stable, they were going to push that fighter above the other fighters in that same stable. And it's to the point they're even going to fucking shame the other fighters in that stable. You feel me? Regular. They're going to shit on them. Hit the like button. I seen it firsthand when Dante's Boxer Nation, okay, Budate, I seen it firsthand when Budate Boxer Nation had Kenny Porter on the show. I was there live. And you had new media and the LDBC, or more so, one or two members of the LDBC pounce on Kenny Porter. Now, Kenny Porter, the father of Sean Porter. Okay? And this was an issue within Stable Brothers, Sean Porter and Earl Spence Jr. That was proof, okay, that you have social media boxing conglomerates that's only pushing this particular fighter over his stablemate, over another black fucking fighter. So these same people, and that they're not the only ones, they're just the most recent example, the more common example that we see. These same people ain't giving a damn that Sean Porter and Kenny Porter were black. They don't give a damn about that. They put that smoke and mirrors in the front that is about that, but no, it's about money. They must have a working business relationship with Earl Spence Jr. So it's that no matter what, we're going to make Earl Spence Jr. look better than Sean Porter at all times. Earl Spence Jr. is going to look better to the public than Terrence Bud Crawford. Earl Spence Jr. is going to look better to the public than Danny Garcia. Earl Spence Jr. is going to look better to the public than Keith Thurman. And this is where social media goes wrong. This is where the checks and balances throws boxing off. This is where those types of checks disrupt the normal flow of boxing in 21st century. The lackluster boxing we've seen so far of the last 10 years. This is what's going wrong. But this is not what social media was initially about. You feel me? So Kurt, and why DT3 the Boom Man's, the reason that inspired me to do this quick live. Because DT3 asked me, was talking about on the live yesterday, well, it seemed like, they was all against Gary Russell Jr. before. He wasn't getting no shine, no love from nobody. Now the LDBC and other conglomerates are giving Gary Russell Jr. all the love in the world. I would like, because he's not beefing Tank Davis. If Gary Russell Jr. was beefing with Tank Davis, then Gary Russell Jr. would not be getting this love from the LDBC. This shine. All this stuff. No, I haven't, Michael Buffer, but let me know in a minute. He wouldn't be getting that. But since he's going against a fighter in a totally different, under a totally different banner, stable, and network, yeah, they're all for Gary Russell Jr. So let's make Gary Russell Jr. look good and Devin Haney look bad. The same thing they was doing with Earl Spence versus Sean Porter, or Earl Spence versus Keith Thurman, or Earl Spence versus Danny Garcia. Do you understand? And my point is, this is where social media is completely out of checks and balances. This is where the social media, these conglomerates, are throwing boxing completely off. Hit the like button. 12 people, 3 likes. Put some respect on Boxing Logics United. I appreciate you. And this is where the things about social media is hurting boxing. Social media, in this sense, is hurting boxing. When Kurt DeVille got the interview with Tay Jones, who was very, very close in the camp, in the inner circle with Deontay Wilder, it was a plus for us who was to bring unbiased perspectives all the way around. But we can't do that if we don't have access to all those fighters. The same type of access that LDBC do or new media does that wish to control the narrative. Now, what LDBC, new media, and other boxing people, you could say MBBC to an extent, you could say UGC, we all do the same. We all think we're doing the right thing. But we all pushing our narrative. Because we all don't know everything that's pushing out there from what we can see. Because we all don't know everything that's going on behind the scenes. We could just speculate and put our best logical sense to it and try to make some sense of it and then present it to y'all. Canelo Alvarez lawsuit versus Dazn and Golden Boy dismissed. Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. Who else Canelo gonna get $35 fucking million a fight from? No one. No one. But back to the point so I can end this joint. Congratulations on Kurt DeVille on getting the interview with Tay Jones. Even though you have people on that side who always had direct access to Deontay Wilder and everything, and they grew off of it, they were jealous and mad of it. But I'm telling you punk motherfuckers right now, why? Why? If you really have Deontay Wilder, Earl Spence Jr., and all these other fighters that you have hidden agreements with to promote, why are you mad that we're getting the opportunities to promote them? Why are you mad if we get the opportunities to promote them if you truly have those fighters benefit in your heart? If you truly want the best for those fighters, you want them to get out there in front of the fucking world, don't you? Why? Because it'll help boxing. Why? Because it'll build fucking superstars that boxing needs to pull itself out the fucking dungeon that it's in. You should be happy, you punk motherfuckers. But you're selfish. You should be happy, Counterpunch Boxing News got an interview with somebody tight in Deontay Wilder's camp. You should be happy with it. But no, you punk motherfuckers try to do some real fuck shit. You should be happy. You should be happy if UGC get it. You should be happy if MBBC get it. You should be happy if Bruce Vane get it. You should be happy if, what's my boy with the big eyeballs? Cool as fuck though. You should be happy if the adult get it. Showbiz the adult. You should be happy if you truly care about the sport of boxing. If you truly want to see boxing rise up to the popularity and prominence it has been in previous decades and eras. But you motherfuckers don't. You don't. So, let me say, Fluke Media, okay, or should I say selfish media, is not good for boxing. You need checks and balances, just like our government has, where the president can what? Veto something that the House or Senate is putting, or the House of Representatives can veto anything the president of the United States wants to put out. Boxing, social media, YouTube, social media overall needs to be that exact same thing. versus mainstream networks versus stable groups. We need to be that checks and balances that everybody can get heard of or listened to on all the platforms, so everybody gets the scoop. Everybody gets the inside story, the truth. It'll nullify, or should I say, it will negate any fluke or bullshit news getting put out there. It will negate any lies, rumors. Why? Because the boxes is open season to be heard on every platform. And that is what new media should be about. 300%. That's all I have to say. All right? This is Myron Magnus. Peace and pugilism to you all. I'll be back here in a few hours. Live, with the panel open for anybody to come on and speak your freaking piece. Okay? One love. And the goddamn live stream.